of witnesses, 124. Who may testify? All persons shall be competent to testify unless the court considers that they are prevented from understanding the questions put to them, or from giving rational answers to those questions, by tender years, extreme old age, disease, whether of body or mind, or any other cause of the same kind. Explanation. A person of unsound mind is not incompetent to testify, unless he is prevented by his unsoundness of mind from understanding the questions put to him and giving rational answers to them. 125. Witness unable to communicate verbally. A witness who is unable to speak may give his evidence in any other manner in which he can make it intelligible, as by writing or by signs. But such writing must be written and the signs made in open court, and evidence so given shall be deemed to be oral evidence, provided that if the witness is unable to communicate verbally, court shall take the assistance of an interpreter or a special educator in recording the statement, and such statement shall be videographed. 126. Competency of husband and wife as witnesses in certain cases. 1. In all civil proceedings the parties to the suit, and the husband or wife of any party to the suit, shall be competent witnesses. 2. In criminal proceedings against any person, the husband or wife of such person, respectively, shall be a competent witness. 127. Judges and magistrates. No judge or magistrate shall, except upon the special order of some court to which he is subordinate, be compelled to answer any question as to his own conduct in court as such judge or magistrate, or as to anything which came to his knowledge in court as such judge or magistrate, but he may be examined as to other matters which occurred in his presence whilst he was so acting. Illustrations. A. On his trial before the Court of Session, says that a deposition was improperly taken by B, the magistrate. B cannot be compelled to answer questions as to this, except upon the special order of A superior court. B. A is accused before the Court of Session of having given false evidence before B, a magistrate. B cannot be asked what A said, except upon the special order of the superior court. C. A is accused before the Court of Session of attempting to murder a police officer whilst on his trial before B, a sessions judge. B may be examined as to what occurred. 128. Communications during marriage. No person who is or has been married shall be compelled to disclose any communication made to him during marriage by any person to whom he is or has been married, nor shall he be permitted to disclose any such communication, unless the person who made it, or his representative in interest, consents, except in suits between married persons, or proceedings in which one married person is prosecuted for any crime committed against the other. Be compelled to disclose any communication made to him during marriage by any person to whom. 129. Evidence as to affairs of state. No one shall be permitted to give any evidence derived from unpublished official records relating to any affairs of state, except with the permission of the officer at the head of the department concerned, who shall give or withhold such permission as he thinks fit. 130. Official communications. No public officer shall be compelled to disclose communications made to him in official confidence, when he considers that the public interests would suffer by the disclosure. 131. Information as to commission of offences. No magistrate or police officer shall be compelled to say when he got any information as to the commission of any offence, and no revenue officer shall be compelled to say when he got any information as to the commission of any offence against the public revenue. Explanation. Revenue officer means any officer employed in or about the business of any branch of the public revenue. 132. Professional communications. 1. No advocate shall at any time be permitted, unless with his client's express consent, to disclose any communication made to him in the course and for the purpose of his service is such advocate, by or on behalf of his client, or to state the contents or condition of any document with which he has become acquainted in the course and for the purpose of his professional service, or to disclose any advice given by him to his client in the course and for the purpose of such service, provided that nothing in this section shall protect from disclosure of any such communication made in furtherance of any illegal purpose. b. Any fact observed by any advocate in the course of his service as such, showing that any crime or fraud has been committed since the commencement of his service. 2. It is immaterial whether the attention of such advocate referred to in the proviso to subsection 1 was or was not directed to such fact by or on behalf of his client. Explanation. The obligation stated in this section continues after the professional service has ceased. Illustrations. A client says to B, an advocate, I have committed forgery, and I wish you to defend me. As the defense of a man known to be guilty is not a criminal purpose, this communication is protected from disclosure. B. A client says to B, an advocate, I wish to obtain possession of property by the use of a forged deed on which I request you to sue. This communication, being made in furtherance of a criminal purpose, is not protected from disclosure. C. A, being charged with embezzlement, retains B, an advocate, to defend him. In the course of the proceedings, B observes that an entry has been made in his account book, charging A with the sum said to have been embezzled, which entry was not in the book at the commencement of his professional service. This being a fact observed by B in the course of his service, showing that a fraud has been committed since the commencement of the proceedings, it is not protected from disclosure. 3. The provisions of this section shall apply to interpreters, and the clerks or employees of advocates. 133. Privilege not waived by volunteering evidence. If any party to a suit gives evidence therein at his own instance or otherwise, he shall not be deemed to have consented thereby to such disclosure as is mentioned in section 132, and, if any party to a suit or 134. Confidential communication with legal advisers. No one shall be compelled to disclose to the court any confidential communication which has taken place between him and his legal adviser, unless he offers himself as a witness, in which case he may be compelled to disclose any such communications as may appear to the court necessary to be known in order to explain any evidence which he has given, but no others. 135. Production of title deeds of witness not a party. No witness who is not a party to a suit shall be compelled to produce his title deeds to any property, or any document in virtue of which he holds any property as pledgee or mortgagee, or any document the production of which might tend to criminate him, unless he has agreed in writing to produce them with the person seeking the production of such deeds or some person through whom he claims. 136. Production of documents or electronic records which another person, having possession, could refuse to produce. No one shall be compelled to produce documents in his possession or electronic records under his control, which any other person would be entitled to refuse to produce if they were in his possession or control, unless such last-mentioned person consents to their production. 137. Witness not excused from answering on ground that answer will criminate. A witness shall not be excused from answering any question as to any matter relevant to the matter in issue in any suit or in any civil or criminal proceeding, upon the ground that the answer to such question will criminate, or may tend directly or indirectly to criminate, such witness, or that it will expose, or tend directly or indirectly to expose such witness to a penalty or forfeiture of any kind, provided that no such answer, which a witness shall be compelled to give, shall subject him to any arrest or prosecution, or be proved against him in any criminal proceeding, except a prosecution for giving false evidence by such answer. 138. Accomplice. An accomplice shall be a competent witness against an accused person, and a conviction is not illegal if it proceeds upon the corroborated testimony of an accomplice. 139. Number of witnesses. No particular number of witnesses shall in any case be required for the proof of any fact.